Dear Radiant Leo, have you ever paused and asked yourself what if everything could change in just 3 days? Not slowly, not eventually, but all at once, light flooding in like golden rain, dissolving years of waiting in a matter of moments. If you found yourself here, watching this message, know that this is not a coincidence. You were meant to arrive at this exact moment. You are being summoned not by luck or fate alone but by the sacred alignment of cosmic forces. From June 20th to 22nd, the universe is opening a rare and powerful window, a divine portal meant for you and only you. Something miraculous is on its way, and Leo, it carries your name. There's a reason you're ruled by the sun. Your soul knows how to lead, how to light up the darkest spaces. But even kings and queens forget their crowns sometimes. Even those born to shine must walk through their shadows. This message finds you now because your time of quiet is ending. The universe is choosing you to rise again, not by force, not by demand, but by divine invitation. This is not about ordinary predictions. What we're entering is a once-in-a-decade kind of shift, and it is entirely built around your energetic signature. Financial breakthroughs, romantic healing, personal clarity, even long-awaited recognition, they are not just possibilities anymore. From June 20th to 22nd, these blessings will begin to rain down. But here's the truth: they can only land where there is space, where there is readiness, where there is awareness. So as you listen today, don't just hear these words, feel them. Let them speak to the parts of you that have been quieted, ignored, silenced, or made small. You were never meant to play small. You were meant to remember. This message is not here to give you permission. It's here to help you reclaim what was already yours. And before we go further, let me pause and say thank you. Thank you for your presence here. Thank you for supporting Eternal Mindfulness with your likes, your comments, your shares, and your energy. Every time you engage, you don't just support a channel. You support a community of awakening souls across the world. Your presence here matters more than you may realize. So if this message already resonates, even before it fully unfolds, I invite you to anchor your energy and affirm your alignment. Let me know in the comments. I accept my divine light and I am ready to receive my miracle. This isn't about waiting anymore. It's about walking through the door that's been calling your name for lifetimes. Stay with me, Leo. You are exactly where you need to be. And the miracle that's coming between June 20th and 22nd? It's real. It's rare. And it's already on its way to you. Now, let's begin. As we continue on this journey together, Leo, let your heart remain open to the subtle currents that have already begun stirring within you. What you are feeling now is not imagination, it's resonance. Just as a bell vibrates in response to sound, your spirit responds to shifts in celestial energy. And at this very moment, a powerful alignment is quietly unfolding, built around your sign with the tenderness of something sacred and the force of something unstoppable. The sun, your cosmic ruler, your celestial mirror, is approaching its most radiant moment of the year. As it nears the nurturing energy of Cancer, a portal begins to open, not in the sky, but within you. This passageway invites emotional depth to harmonize with your natural fire, allowing your strength to no longer need to shout, it simply shines. Where you once acted out of willpower alone, now your decisions begin to flow from an inner clarity that feels like truth rather than urgency. The sun's passage brings light not only to your external life but to those quiet corners of the soul where courage meets vulnerability. In the same breath of cosmic time, a harmonious trine between Mars and Venus is being drawn across the heavens. Mars, the energy of movement, desire, and momentum, dances fluidly with Venus, the essence of connection, attraction, and soft power. For you, Leo, this means one thing: what you chase can finally begin chasing you back. Whether it's a creative vision, a professional calling, or a love that you've quietly held in your heart, this alignment accelerates flow. The obstacles you've faced in recent months were never denials. They were pauses necessary, sacred delays that allowed your inner landscape to align with what you truly deserve. Everything in nature moves in cycles. A tree does not rush its blooming, the moon does not question its phases. You, too, are part of this divine rhythm. In moments like this, when the cosmos itself seems to lean in your direction, the real question is not what you need to do, but whether you are ready to receive. Can you stand in the light you were born to reflect? Can you move without resistance, not because you're pushing harder, but because you're finally flowing with your own truth? The cards that guide this phase are not random symbols, but echoes of your current vibration. The King of Wands speaks of you rising in your mastery, not just of action, but of inspired leadership. This is not a crown earned through effort alone, but one granted through embodiment. The sun appears, not to promise joy, but to affirm that joy is your natural state when you stop doubting your own worth. And the Six of Wands is a gentle reminder: recognition is coming. And it is coming not because you shouted louder, but because your presence could no longer be ignored. In moments of great clarity, the wise do not cling to outcomes, they return to stillness. Just like the flame that dances calmly at the center of a candle, the truest power resides in quiet conviction. The numbers surrounding you now, 1, 22, 33, are not signs to decode but reminders of what already exists inside you. You are the originator, the chosen, the soul that knows how to finish what was started lifetimes ago. Let the colors that call to you now, golden hues, deep scarlets, fiery orangey, more than just aesthetic choices. Let them be your living prayer. Wrap yourself in these tones, eat foods that reflect their frequency, write with ink that feels like flame. Every detail of your day can become a sacred act of alignment. Not because it changes the stars, but because it shows you've chosen to walk in rhythm with them. And that, dear Leo, is what allows the miracle to land. There comes a moment in every soul's path when silence is no longer stillness, but a quiet ache. Leo, you've known that kind of silence, haven't you? Not the peaceful kind that grounds and soothes, but the silence that arrives after compromise, after dimming your light so others wouldn't feel overshadowed. You've carried the weight of others' expectations like armor, convincing yourself it was love, loyalty, or just what needed to be done. But the truth is, your essence was never meant to hide. And now, as the universe gently but firmly calls your name, it asks only one thing: will you allow yourself to be seen again? Over the past months, perhaps even years, your journey hasn't been about getting louder or doing more. In fact, it may have felt like everything slowed down. Like your fire was flickering behind layers of self-doubt, overthinking, or emotional exhaustion. You may have said yes when your heart whispered no. Or stayed in spaces, relationships, roles, that no longer nourished your soul, believing that endurance was the noble path. And yes, patience is a virtue. But surrendering your truth for the comfort of others is not PC, it's self-abandonment dressed in silence. You were not born for invisibility. You were born under the sun. Your energy is not about ego or dominancy, it's about clarity, vitality, life force. And when your light dims, the world loses a necessary warmth. So this isn't about just coming back. It's about returning home to yourself. The window between June 20th and 22nd is not just a date range. It's a doorway. One that opens only when you finally remember what you were made of and choose to stop apologizing for your brilliance. Many traditions speak of the path of the warrior, not one who conquers others, but one who conquers their own fear. The warrior does not seek validation. The warrior seeks alignment. And you, dear Leo, have walked through the shadows long enough to now know what is real. Joy that doesn't need to be earned, power that doesn't come from struggle, and freedom that arises when you simply tell the truth of who you are. Consider this. How many times have you dimmed your voice so someone else wouldn't feel small? How often have you carried responsibilities that were never yours to hold, just because you could? You have given your strength away so gently, so quietly, that even you may have forgotten how bright you once burned. But that inner fire, it never left. It was simply waiting for you to turn inward and remember. Now is the time to ask, not what others need from you, but what your soul has been patiently waiting for. Are you living as your true self, or are you editing your light for the comfort of the room? This is not about rebellion. This is about return. A return to the most honest, unfiltered, powerful version of you, the one who leads not by force, but by example. The one who uplifts simply by standing fully in their truth. There is a teaching that says, a flame does not lose its heat by lighting another. In the same way, your glow does not dim the world, it strengthens it. But first, it has to be real. It has to be yours. So if you've been waiting for a sign to reclaim yourself, to make a choice not from fear but from inner knowing, this is it. The universe is not asking you to perform. It's inviting you to embody. The world is ready to receive you as you are. The question is, are you ready to meet yourself there? When we talk about abundance, Leo, we often think of what is given to us: opportunities, wealth, recognition. But true abundance is not something we chase. It is something we prepare to receive. And that preparation isn't always about working harder or doing more, it's about becoming energetically aligned with what you say you want. From June 20th to 22nd, the cosmic doorway isn't opening so that you can run toward your desires. It's opening so that your desires can finally find you if you've cleared the space to let them in. Everything that arrives into your life must have somewhere to land. Just as water cannot fill a cup that's already full, abundance cannot enter a space that's cluttered with stagnant energy, whether physical, emotional, or mental. That's why the first step in restoring your power is to purify your environment. Take a moment to clean your space, not just as a chore, but as a quiet ritual of readiness. Replace your sheets, open your windows, light a candle, play music that vibrates at 528 high frequency of healing and harmony. This is not about perfection. It's about presence. Each act is a declaration that says, I am open. I am ready. Once your outer space reflects your inner clarity, it's time to speak your truth into form. Not to the world, but to yourself. Writing a declaration of brightness manifesto, if you will, is a powerful way to shape energy into reality. This is not a wish list or a fantasy. This is a written embodiment of who you choose to become from this moment forward. Be specific. Speak in the present tense. Don't just write, "I want to be abundant." Write, "I am a magnet for meaningful success. I share joyfully, love courageously, and rise unapologetically." Writing is action. And action creates momentum. But even momentum must flow both ways. One of the most misunderstood truths about abundance is this: it doesn't begin with receiving. It begins with giving. When we give from a place of sincerity, not for praise, not for credit, but for connection, we tell the universe we are not operating from lack. We are already full. And fullness is what attracts more. So give freely. Maybe it's a small gift to someone going through a hard time. Maybe it's a compliment you've held back. Maybe it's time, presence, or a listening ear. No act is too small. What matters is that it comes from the heart, unguarded. As your light expands, so does your sensitivity. You may find yourself absorbing more energy from the world around you, both nourishing and draining. That's why protecting your energy isn't about fear. It's about respect. Respect for your own life force. This is where the use of grounding tools like amber, sunstone, or a simple visualization practice can become daily anchors. Sit quietly and imagine a soft white light surrounding you, bright but breathable. Let it move through your body, strengthening the places that feel dim and softening the areas that feel tense. This isn't escape. It's presence. And presence is the foundation of all protection. In teachings that value awareness, it is said that a clean bowl will always be filled, while a bowl filled with muddy water cannot receive what is clear. Your job now is to become that clear vessel. Not flawless. Just clear. So that when the universe rains blessings over these 3 days, you're not only able to receive them, you're able to hold them with both hands and say, "Yes, I am ready for this." Because you are. And you always have been. Once your space is clear and your heart begins to realign with its natural rhythm, what comes next is no longer about waiting, it's about calling. This is where the law of attraction begins to deepen. Leo, the truth is, you've never needed to chase anything. Your energy is inherently magnetic. But magnetism only works when the inner frequency matches what you're asking to receive. And during these 3 days of powerful alignment, what you radiate will return to you, not just symbolically, but tangibly. Everything you desire has already been circling around you like mist waiting to condense. The miracle is not a prize granted from the outside. It's the moment when your internal belief finally reaches the same vibration as what you've been longing for. This isn't about convincing yourself through empty repetition. It's about choosing to believe in your worth so deeply that the external world begins to echo it back. That's why your voice matters, not just in conversation, but in intention. Take a few quiet minutes each morning and record yourself speaking your affirmations out loud. Hearing your own voice declare, "I am ready," or "I am enough," reinforces not just the words, but the identity behind them. You become the author of your energy, not a seeker, but a creator. Visualization is not pretending. It's remembering. When you close your eyes and see yourself holding the keys to a new home, signing that contract you once thought too far away, or waking up next to the kind of love that sees you fully, you're not escaping reality. You're preparing for it. The mind doesn't know the difference between imagination and memory, it only responds to feeling. And the more vividly you feel the joy of what's coming, the more effortlessly it begins to move toward you. But belief is a quiet force. It doesn't need to shout. It only asks for consistency. Think of it like watering a plant. Not every drop brings a visible change, but without it, the roots wouldn't survive. That's how affirmation works. That's how attraction works. You don't need to force it. You only need to feed it gently, daily, without attachment or fear. Just trust that what is rooted in your heart is already on its way. In the teachings of stillness, it's said that the mind becomes clear not by removing thoughts, but by resting in awareness. The same applies here. You don't need to eliminate doubt. You only need to stop identifying with it. Every time a fear arises, what if I fail? What if it doesn't happen? What if I'm not enough? Meet it with a soft inner smile. Then return to your center. Because the moment you choose presence over panic, you return to the place where receiving becomes natural. Let your affirmations be simple but powerful. Say them like truths you've always known but are just now beginning to speak aloud. Everything good is finding its way to me because I am finally open. I deserve a life of love, abundance, and peaceful success. You don't need to force belief into your body. Let the repetition carry you gently there. And if you forget, return to the breath. One breath in with trust. One breath out with surrender. That's all it takes to call in what's already yours. You are not asking the universe to give you something you lack. You are reminding yourself that you were never separate from it. These 3 days are not a test. They are an invitation. Speak as if it's already done. And then watch what unfolds. By now, Leo, you've remembered what it feels like to stand in your light without apology. You've cleared space, spoken your truth, and begun calling forward the reality that's been quietly waiting for your permission to arrive. But this journey is not only about personal transformation. The moment you begin to embody your full radiance, something remarkable happens. Your presence becomes a mirror for others. The light you've reclaimed doesn't stop with you, it ripples outward, becoming a quiet yet powerful force that awakens the sleeping courage in those around you. This isn't about becoming a leader in the traditional sense. It's about becoming a presence that uplifts by simply being real. Authenticity is rare in a world that rewards performance. But when someone chooses to live aligned with their deepest values, without needing to be perfect, something shifts. People feel it. They sense the steadiness beneath your smile, the clarity behind your choices, and the peace in your boundaries. That's what it means to lead without trying to lead. You may already feel this pull, subtle but undeniable. Perhaps you've been drawn to share more of your voice, your ideas, or your experiences. Maybe people have started coming to you for guidance without you asking for that role. These are not coincidences, they are confirmations. The universe places its light through those who are willing to carry it with humility and truth. And for you, Leo, that light is becoming too bright to hide. There is a teaching that says the one who walks with awareness carries the lamp that helps others see the path, not by shining it in their faces, but by placing it gently before them. Your journey, especially in these last seasons, has not only refined you, it has prepared you. You've walked through discomfort, through quiet self-reflection, through letting go of roles that no longer fit. And now you're not just stronger, you're clearer. You know what matters. You know what you stand for. And that clarity is the most precious offering you can give. If you've been feeling the quiet inner nudge to step into something bigger, to speak more honestly, to create something that uplifts, to be a source of strength when others feel lost, this is your moment. You don't need a grand title or a massive platform. You only need willingness. The Strength card reminds you that true power is quiet. It doesn't roar. It listens, holds, and chooses wisely. The Queen of Wands shows you what it looks like to shine without dimming others. And Judgment, the Great Awakener, invites you to step out of old versions of yourself and live in alignment with your calling, not someday, but now. So ask yourself, gently but honestly, if you had the chance to offer hope to someone standing at the edge of their own darkness, what would you say? What part of your experience would become their lifeline? You don't need to have all the answers. You just need to show them through how you live, how you speak, how you walk through the world. That light is always available. That even after long silence, the voice can return. That even after stillness, the fire can rise again. There's no need to rush or force what's coming. Simply stay rooted in your own truth and let that be your offering. When we stop striving to be the source and start becoming the space, transformation happens quietly, steadily, beautifully. And often, without even knowing it, we become the miracle someone else has been waiting for. And now, Leo, as we near the final breath of this message, I want you to pause, not just to listen, but to truly feel what is stirring within you. Over these past few minutes, you haven't just heard words, you've reawakened to a deeper knowing. You've remembered that your path is not passive. That life is not something happening to you. That, at any given moment, you have the power to redirect the flow of your destiny by choosing gently but boldly to show up for yourself. This window from June 20th to 22nd isn't simply a stretch of time. It's a sacred invitation. One that asks you to step beyond old versions of who you thought you had to be, and into the full, fearless truth of who you actually are. And this isn't a demand, it's a choice. You can continue to wait for the right time, for external validation, for someone else's permission. Or you can claim this very moment as the beginning of your return. A return to joy, to purpose, to radiant, unapologetic self-expression. No one can make that choice for you. And no one can take it from you, either. That's the gift of this energy. It reminds you that you are never powerless, even when the world feels loud and uncertain. What would shift in your life if, for the next 3 days, you chose to live as though everything you desired was already on its way? If you acted as though your success was inevitable, your love was safe, your purpose was alive and waiting for you to meet it halfway? Ask yourself now, gently, what story are you done carrying? What version of yourself are you finally ready to outgrow? What light inside you has been patiently waiting for your permission to rise? I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm here to remind you that you already know. You already feel it. And everything you need is within reach if you dare to trust your own fire. So, Leo, if anything in this message has spoken to the quiet spaces inside you, if even a single word has felt like it was written directly for your heart, I want you to claim that resonance. Let it become a mirror, not a moment. Let it become action, not just inspiration. Comment below, I am the light within me. I choose to rise today. Let this be your declaration, not to the world, but to yourself. And if this video has given you something meaningful, even a gentle reminder, I hope you'll give back in the way only a Leo can, with presence, with heart, with power. Like this video, subscribe to Eternal Mindfulness, and turn on notifications so you'll never miss another message meant just for you. Your support is more than just numbers. It's a living energy that allows this space to continue holding and inspiring those who, like you, are ready to remember their light. Thank you for walking this path with me. Thank you for showing up today. And thank you for trusting the process, even when it's quiet, even when it's slow. And before you go, ask yourself one final question. If you were no longer afraid of your own power, what would your life look like from this moment forward? Because now you get to choose.